thanks a lot for taking the time to catch up again.
Well, no, I'm proud that you come down to see me. I thought, fucking dude.
I was always in the
fucking
past.
Sepp. I said, fucking. Well, see, like this is nothing special, Sepp. It's just fucking. It just said I got tired of fucking concrete.
Yep.
Because all I do work on concrete. Like, you know, when you're working on a crane, your time will come. You'll just go, that's it. So Ma, here I come. You know, you go back home. I didn't go back home.
Pretty simple.
What I did was I found a home. And it was accidental. And when I come up here, and because Shandles was 100% behind me, and then when we got here, and then I went outside and she was out there crying. I said, what's wrong with you? This is about a few months later. We had Christmas here and everything. Had all the family up here. Everybody visiting. And then it just went, stopped.
It's
And she said, because I was talking to the other woman, says, Shandles, they're my past. It's not about that. It's about what was the saying I heard today about who was it that said that he loved people? Who was it? It was I just heard it on the thing before that. Love people, don't hate people, just love people.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, that's probably my mistake. It's just that I don't. It's like with Shandles. I don't hate her. I don't. Yeah. She's my wife. And she was my wife, and she is my vessel. But I don't hate her. You know, I said, well, you know, she wants to do her thing. I have to give her that, because why would I want to go into get into a depressed state over a woman and not give her freedom, because, you know, okay, she was looking after me and I'm working, and she's there for me when I go home. But, you know, she has her own dreams. It wasn't work.
Yeah.
They just think different. So, yeah.
So, after all that, you've been on the roundabout for a few relationships and a few ins and outs. But it's like, but you still take those things into consideration. Yeah? Just a big softie, like, you know what I mean? Like, I would think that going through all those sort of things, splits and stuff like that, it sort of might make you harder. I know it makes you a lot more understanding of the process, but you're still a big giver, like, you know. You still, you know, you have that. I don't know, is that from your upbringing, Matt? Like, how you like to look after people, make sure everybody's all right.
There's a thing about me is that I've always looked at people that were not below me, because, you know, they all are up high.
Yeah.
But you know, with as far as women, I always sort of felt a pity and a compassion to make them a better person.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And
it's been a hard life, isn't it?
It was never understood.
Yeah, you know. All right, so I don't know what's going to make it even any harder. All right, how about we just jump back? Like, where did you grow up in New Zealand, man? Tell us about that.
Well, there's a place called Waitotara. It's just out of Wanganui.
Yep.
About 15 kilometres, I think, north of Wanganui.
Wow.
So.
And it's like real country. Like you said, you grew up on a farm. Is that?
Yeah, the Hawkins farm. Grew up there and grew up with guardian parents.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Were they family?
He was. I found out that he was an uncle to my mother.
Yeah.
And you know how they pass kids down through generations.
Okay.
You know that kids get passed on to let the relations look after them, or the relations come and kidnap them. So that's what happens.
Was it? Isn't that like? That doesn't happen now though? But that was the thing that was happening then.
I think it still happens now in traditional married life.
Yep.
Because I think where the mother and the father might break up, and then the children have to go and live with their grandmother. Ends up bringing them up.
Yeah.
Or one of the relations ends up bringing them up. They say, oh well, they're good for my family, and I need someone to chop the wood. Or wash the clothes or whatever.
So what age are we talking about that you grew up around on the farm?
Probably about from about 2 till about 14 years old, 12 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. So
you would have been conscious of a lot of things that were happening, growing up and stuff like that.
Well, we still had our surname, so I knew that we weren't part of the Taha family, but.
Okay.
Anyway,
and what can you say? It was a good family experience growing up under those terms.
It was it was hard.
Okay, so you were well aware that there were guardians that were looking after you.
Yeah, because we knew that because of our surname, and the thing is. Me and my twin brother, we were seeking to try and find out about who our real family was, and we used to listen to the radio and hear something on the radio about someone, and then we'd say, "Oh, that's our brother," because his surname was Ford.
What was your brother's name?
Paul Ford. And little did we know that it was our brother they were talking about. And then we heard another one about my sister, and she was in hospital, and we heard there was some request on about her being sick in hospital. Well, she actually died when she was in hospital. We were going to go back to the school and tell all our friends, we've got a sister.
Oh, wow.
Well, she actually died.
Yeah.
It was actually dying while she was in that hospital, and we didn't know. I found that out years and years later, when she was 10 when she died. So you want to really hold on to as much family as you can, especially the ones that are directly, blood and stuff. Not taking anything away from or the family that you grew up with, but and that's probably why. Could you say that was why you're so close to your brother, Paul? Oh, in Lindsay, there's another brother, Lindsay and Paul.
Yeah.
But I didn't meet Paul till I was around 19 or 20. I rang up.
Okay.
I found my real father and rang up to talk to my twin brother, say, hey, look, there's a big party going on, and this bloke answered the phone and said, it's Paul. I thought my twin brother was clowning around with me.
Yeah.
Because the voice was the same. And she said, no, it's Paul. It's Paul. I said, Andy, stop fucking around with me.
So you always knew about Paul, though?
I knew I had brothers.
Yes.
And then I shot home to have a look.
Yeah.
And then I met my brother. And he's still kicking.
Oh, fantastic.
And the funny thing with Paul is that he got Father of the Year.
Where?
Back in New Zealand, Father of the Year. All you got to do is Google it.
What year?
Well, I can't remember. It was Paul. It just got Father of the Year, and I
heard
it, and I said, "Well, I'll be blowed."
Yeah.
So you sort of look at your family and say, "Well, there's something within the family. There's always something there."
So you guys were like split. Like how many of you guys? Were 4 of you?
There was
5.
There was a brother that died the day we were born, because I seen his grave, and I found it accidentally. And my other brothers, the ones that grew up, didn't even know that there was a grave site, and I found it by looking through through the cemetery, and said, and I saw the father and mother's name on the gravestone, and said, this kid that died at the age of 3, and the birth date was the day that me and my twin brother were born. So I thought, wow. And my brother was standing and said, gee, I didn't know this was here. We were going there to see my twin brother's site and my sister's site, Teresa, that died. They were buried in the same yard, same cemetery. And then I found a third one that was born the same day that we were born. And I said, now I understand why my mother had a mental breakdown or what they call postnatal depression nowadays.
Okay. And so, so you grew up, with your guardian family, and did you have other siblings as well, like you were living with? You still close with them?
Yeah. I got my sister lives on the Gold Coast, and we're very close.
Oh well, yeah. And do you identify yourself with that family, or you've?
She was adopted.
Okay.
Yeah, she was adopted, and she was adopted into the Taha family.
Oh, so it was one big mixed
there was
Brady Bunch family.
There was four different. There was the Oranganui, the Taha, the Ford.
Oh man, there must have been a few characters.
And the Teotongas, all in one family. And there was everyone was related. Teotongas was the guardian mother was the sister to the Teotonga family. Yep. Was a sister. Cappy, the father, was the uncle to my mother. The Ronganui was related to Cappy's side, and who else was there? There was Taha, Ford, Ronganui, and a Taha was one born, JB Taha.
And
their only child.
That Ford name is a pretty significant name. Like it's not really a Māori name. So, like, how far back do you go with that?
Only I go back to I went over to America and went to the Ford factory in Detroit and went to see to look at Henry Ford's history.
Yeah.
And because my nickname was Henry when I was in the army, and I read about how he created the assembly line for his car, building the cars in it. And I was reading about him, and I thought, oh Jesus! I felt such a connection about his philosophy in life. Is how I felt.
Okay.
It's how I thought. How I thought and thought. And I just said, gee, there's has to be a connection somewhere there. And then when I went to find out, apparently we've got Irish descendants, and my twin brother was called Barry and I was called Kevin, but we go under our second names. And Kevin Barry, I looked at the to find out how we got our names when I found my father, and he says, "Oh, you were named after Kevin Barry," and Kevin Barry was a revolutionist in Ireland that was hung at the age of 19, and there's a song, the Ballad of Kevin Barry, where he wouldn't give the names of the people that were fighting the English to give the so they hung him, and that's who we were named after. So it was called Kevin Barry. Then I knew that I was born first. So that was where that came from.
Wow. And how long were you? Did you start working? Was it Wanganui where you worked?
Oh, in a timber yard in Waverley. No, not in Wanganui, in Waverley.
Yeah.
Waverley Timber Yard, getting about 30 cents an hour, and then working at the Patel's grocery store.
Oh.
They were the Indians.
How old were you?
15, 16.
Shit. Oh, so what? Is that when you started work?
We were still going to school. Still going to school. Yeah, and
what was the young?
Patel's gave us, you got T&P and some vegetables, and
which was, you're talking about back then, and it was very adequate at that time. It was good dosh, good money.
Yeah, well, we had to give the money back to the parents.
I
it wasn't our money.
About that.
and then went to work at the party of freezing works when I left school.
Okay.
But all of my mates and that from school, we all worked there. And when you I sort of feel when you've been brought up in that hard life, you can see truth in people.
Yeah.
I don't sort of look at the media to find the truth. I look at life experience, and then you look at a person, you listen to his words, and you listen to things he says, and you can see the honesty in the person. You can read. Some people can't read it. I can read people.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean? And it's like when I first met you.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
I was just thinking that. I was going.
How you read someone and say, we're both in a bar having a drink and just hey, Ahoon. But I looked at you as, to me, I was, he was just like another brother, and he said, and we just started talking, and then I don't know what happened, but I think we ordered a beer and then,
going over that, Matt, that was I think about it all the time, and it is a story that's close to my heart as well, on how because I was a bit in limbo about what I wanted to do. I just had my daughter. I was supposed to be out in Cranbourne for some family race day stuff, with the in-laws. But I chose to watch David Tua fight, and they dropped me off on the way to Cranbourne. So, but it was like nothing was going to stop me from being there. And I don't know whether it was time for me, or whether it was, or I was actually there to support Tua, and I was there to support them. But really, when I look back, it's just another fight. I love David Tua, but anyway, I ended up there. And then you came around, and then we started talking about the boxing, and then that, and and I was like, okay, well, all right, well, yeah. I work in a factory, I drive forklifts and set machines up, make parts for Ford and Holden, and then you told me what you were doing, and then I was like, ding, all right, you looking for workers? And you're like, actually, well, I could be. And that night I signed on, and away we went. We worked together. And, I was very fortunate, I'm very lucky, and I thank you for that, man. I thank you for that opportunity, and I'll never forget it. Never. And it's, like I said, it's something that's very dear to me, and that's a story that I'll always tell, because it's just important, because it's a big part of who I am and where I am now.
Well, that's probably how I treated my wives, is made sure that they're all being looked after.
Alright, then I want half now, man. I want half. Alright, give me half.
No, it wasn't about half. It was about just respecting them, because they were part of me.
Yeah.
And they still are, but they all get jealous of each other.
Well, you know how it is.
Yeah.
Strapping young Kiwi.
They make you.
Yeah.
So.
Now, but so, it was an interesting time, wasn't it, man? You had just come over from Brisbane. or the Gold
Yeah,
Coast.
yeah.
You know, you just finished a massive project in the casino, the Melbourne. Was it
Melbourne Casino.
Yeah, Melbourne Casino. Yeah, which that sprouts a lot of other stories as well, like dealing with Grocon and all that. Yeah, and you know, that was an opportunity. I took it. I asked the question, and you know, and I followed it through. So, and I'm very fortunate today. You know that I've gotten to where I am because you know you opened that door up for me.
Yeah, but one thing you got to just to get the story right with Grocon is I had a relationship with them that was there was a lot of respect,
Yeah.
a lot of respect, and they were never ever done wrong. The only thing that where it was wrong is when I did a love job up on the Gold Coast on one of Bruno's
Well,
properties.
how's that wrong? This shit always happens all the time, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's what you do.
but on his property, and I actually thought I was getting paid, but I didn't know it was a love job, and I would have pulled him up on it, but I didn't get that opportunity.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but you know, it didn't matter. It didn't worry me. It's just that we had a good relationship on a lot of projects. So
Yeah, no, it was a good time.
the things that hit me most is marriage breakups.
Yeah.
Because I've given everything.
Yeah. Okay.
And the thing is, I'm saying, I always sort of felt that I should have married a married woman.
Okay.
You know, I should have hooked up with a Mary. But the only reason the only thing that ever put me against that is that I could be marrying a bloody distant cousin or a distant, because we're so in this, everybody's with this tribal thing.
Yeah.
You know, when I found out about my family, I said, you go through generations.
Okay.
You're married to a cousin or a bloody half sister or something like that, and that's always bothered me.
Yeah. Well, look, I think if you're going to meet somebody that you don't,
because you meet someone and they go,
they're so much removed. Like
you only look at the surname.
Yeah.
And you connect it. Holy shit! There's about 20 surnames to one family. You know that?
Yeah.
Because the relation just goes. It's a tribal thing.
Okay.
You know how you've got one tribe and their family is massive, and it'll go from the South Island all the way up to the North Island.
Yeah, but with you thinking that, Matt, how long have you thought like that? Like, you know, maybe you should.
I only looked at the family. Tree and saw the relationships, and I said, "Holy shit!"
But you've obviously thought that life might be easier.
No. What it was because brought up in the married culture, everyone was a brother and a sister or an uncle and an auntie.
Okay. Yeah.
Whether they were your auntie true blood, but as a matter of respect. So you respected the auntie, the uncle, the sister, and the brother, like I call you a brother. And the thing is, suddenly, whether you're related in blood or not, he's still your brother.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean?
I get
or
that.
he's still your sister. So they're out of bounds because they're your brother and your sister. You know, you're a brother.
Okay.
You're not. It's not a relation. You're not related.
That's a big net, eh? That's a big net. Right?
Yeah, but it's because you grew up that way that your brother's your brother, and that's it. He's your brother.
Yeah.
Whether it's blood or not, or she's your sister, whether blood or not. So when you meet a family, or you meet a woman that's a married, she might have a cousin or a sister that you've already accepted as a sister or a brother or a brother,
Okay.
and suddenly she's part of that family, and it just suddenly it becomes taboo.
But you've always even from New Zealand, you've always gravitated towards the Pākehā chicks.
The what?
Or the Pākehā women, Pākehā ladies.
Yeah, it was.
Like
Yeah,
like when you were younger, did you have
no.
Did you have Maori girlfriends?
Yeah, but no.
Or they gravitated to you?
No. The Maori was my. They were like my cousins, and
okay,
they're not really cousins.
Okay, so
because the mother and father were uncles, they were they were family.
So what you were talking about then,
you've
always had it instilled in you since you were a young fella. Like
well, when you're in the village, every Maori was your uncle, and every mother was your auntie.
Yeah, but did you ever wonder
to
about
other Maori families?
Did you ever wonder about all the other Māoris that were married to Māoris through your generation and the younger generations and all that? Like, they didn't think that, and I don't know. No,
but the thing is, even when I was playing rugby over here and with other Maoris, they become instantly brothers, and their children became, my children. They were like my children. They weren't, they weren't. It was just the Maori way.
Oh yeah, is it the Maori way, or is it just the way you think about it?
It's the same as the Samoan way.
Yeah.
It's the same. Your family is your heritage. Your heritage is not so much your blood. It's your.
No, I'm just going over what you were saying about how that's what stops you from.
No, it didn't stop me. Okay. It's just that. It didn't stop me. It's just that I just think. Are we related? And then they can't answer you because they don't know themselves.
It sounds like a bit of a blocker there, bro.
Yeah.
But
with the Pākehā, it was it was more or less to educate yourself. That you wanted to be. You
looked at them as being
you wanted to simulate yourself with their culture to learn from it. And basically it was through the English culture because and then I remember there was that Maori bloke that I read about that he went over there and married that princess or something over in England.
Married a princess?
Yeah, he married someone in royalty.
Okay.
He was a married fellow and
Yep. Oh, actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think was it an old one or was it recent?
No. It was a fair way back. But the thing is, it's that's the Maori way. They want to marry. He's got his Maori culture, but he also wants to. He wants to live the European lifestyle.
So how long were you there for before you scooted out of that area? Like,
where's this?
Did you're still in what was the area where you were working? Were you full time? With the freezing works?
Yeah, free work. Yeah. We used to. It was back in. I remember this. Was the Pākehā freezing works.
Pākehā?
Yeah.
Like the Māori club?
No, Pākehā was. Well, Pākehā that's where they come from.
Okay.
Taranaki.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And everybody worked at the Pākehā freezing works, and all your uncles there, and what I did there was I saved. We were getting about. I think it was about. $17 a week, I think it was. It was good pay back in those days, and back in the 70s. And,
how much? $17?
$17 or something.
Wow.
And I was giving half. I told them pay thing that to make out I was only earning £10 and put the other 7 in an account.
Yeah.
And because he was an uncle, well, you know, in the married way.
Yeah.
He's put things in because he knew that you know, that how we were brought up. And when I accumulated, you know, about £100, that's when I said, right, I think I've got some money to run away. And that's when I ran away. I just left.
So you had all these.
I was 17, and then I ran away.
You're scheming to take off.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
I was just getting this money saved on the side, and I bought a transistor radio, a sleeping bag and a transistor radio, and the radio so I could listen.
So you had nowhere to go?
No, I was going to go and look for my real parents.
Okay.
My real family. And I bought the transistor radio so I could listen to the news and see if police were looking for me.
What movies were you watching, man?
Well, no movies back those days.
So everything was on radio,
yeah.
If the coppers were
back in those days, well, there was TV. Some people had black and white TV, but that was only the rich farmers and that. And I just bought the transistor radio so that I could listen to the news to see if there's, you know, that someone's lost or something, and it was the police looking out to try and find me when I've actually run away.
Fuck, how old were you?
17. Yeah, and just took off, went to see my sister, which is Bernadette. She lives on the Gold Coast now. And my twin brother said, I'm going. Asked my twin brother if he wanted to come with me. He was too scared.
Which one, Lindsay or Paul?
No, just Andrew.
Andrew.
Yeah. And see if he wanted. No, Lindsay and Paul were brought up by the family.
Okay.
And he was too scared because if we get caught, we'll get belted. And so I went to see my sister. She was only about 14, and said, I'm going, look after Andy, make sure you look after Andy. And okay, and so I'm going. That was it. With my money, I bought a rucksack, and the radio and the sleeping bag, and that was it. I was gone. And I walked from Waverley through to Waitotara up to Maxwell. And it was early hours of the morning. I could see cars coming. I recognised the car was one of my uncles, and I'd jump into the box, jump into a ditch in the side of the road to hide, because they'd recognise me, you know, walking along the road, you know, because you're on the highway.
Yeah.
Jump into the boxhorn hedge and that, get all pricked to that, and just hide. Wait till the car get up and start walking again, and then walk past a house where you knew someone had died, and think there's a ghost was going to come and get you, and just run like hell. So you
spotted at these derelict houses that nobody was in.
Yeah, and then because you know someone had died in there, because you heard, you know, someone had died, and you walk past it, and then you hear a noise, and you just start to sprint down the up the highway, just sprint until you couldn't run anymore, and then jump into the bloody bush and hide. And when you saw another headlight coming, because everyone was driving to go to the freezing works to work, you know, early hours in the morning.
Wow.
Yeah, just to hide, and walked all the way to a place called Lukamuru, and then ended up catching a bus and then headed to Wellington. And never sort of been in a journey like that, and in a bus and looking at all
17 years old?
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy, yes.
Yeah. And got to Wellington, and then I remember the first night, just went to look, found a house, and went and climbed underneath this factory. It was a factory, it wasn't a house, and sleeping on top of these hay bales, and not hay bales, wool bales. And then woke up in the morning, and there was a production going on. You know, I was actually in some factory, and I didn't know where I was, and sneaked back out, and then went looking for my parents. And I just got the telephone book, looked up the name Ford, and started going knocking on doors and saying, "Are you my mum, or are you my dad?"
Yeah. Well, you see it a lot in the movies, the big knock on the door.
Yeah. And the first door I actually knocked on, this woman opened the door, and I said, "Oh, does Frank Ford live here?" And she says, "Are you Matthew?"
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. I knew you would turn up one day.
So people knew of your existence?
And she was the stepmother.
So they all knew about you?
Yeah. But he'd remarried. And she said, he must have told her about us and said, "Are you Matthew?" When I knocked on the door. Yeah.
And so what happened from there? Like,
I
like,
moved and I actually didn't go there first. I went to go and see an auntie and uncle that lived in Rotorua. Not Rotorua, sorry. Porirua. Porirua.
It's a lot of fucking bushes, to jump into before you get
Cannons
into
Creek.
there, like.
Cannons Creek.
Cannons Creek,
Yeah, in Porirua, yeah.
Yeah, it's like famous, that place.
Yeah. And they were called, there was the Ozikis. They were in the Ozikis is the family name. And they were, my auntie was the sister to my guardian father in Waverley.
Yep.
But when they visited one day and I got to meet them and they sort of, you know, aunties and uncles always take pity on other kids, you know. And, you know, and you love your aunties and uncles, you know what I mean? Everyone does. Because, you know, it's somewhere I can go if I run away. And I stayed with him for a few months and was working in with the Winston Brick Factory in Paparam, I think it was, just out of Porirua.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And
it was then when I was there that I went looking for my parents because they knew about them and they told me where they were. That's right. That's how I found them. Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, did you ever think, you know, are they thinking about me? Do they know what I'm doing? Do they ever think, whether I'm all right or like?
No, because I don't know if you understand that when you have aunties and uncles, they have when you grow up with a family that's harsh, you always seem to have aunties and uncles that where their kids get lollies and ice creams and they have a wonderful life. And you look at them and go, "Oh, geez, how come our parents are not like that?" And their parents already know how you're being treated. They know how. And so when you go to them, you know, they put a banquet on for you and give you your ice cream and your lollies where, you know what I mean? Your aunties and uncles love other people's children.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's hard to explain. It's you have to. A Mary would understand it.
Okay.
They understand that, you know, they have favourite aunties and uncles because they're the ones that always gave them gifts and made sure that they were looked after and cared for because they were probably the Christian part of the auntie and uncle. You know what I mean?
So you say that they look after their extended kids before they look after their own? Like,
no. Well, maybe they probably beated their own kids.
Okay. And
then looked after the other kids because they did say, "Oh, we're perfect." You know what I mean? I don't know, but because I can't say that. All I know is that you walked in there and you were just, you know, you were treated well.